Hello everybody, welcome to Scary Stories. This kid wanted me to react to it. I met him in Ketchup today, it's awesome.
My name is Lewis, and I live in Switzerland.
You're
This
reacting?
story happened 5 years ago during the winter holidays. It was an icy cold day, and the snow was falling continuously, so we had to warm the house all day long with the firewood, putting it into the fireplace. My dad told us all the time that we should take care of the firewood. However, for the next days, we didn't do anything but just played Nintendo.
I do the same.
Eventually, we noticed late around 9 p.m. that we had run out of wood.
Ouch.
Dad got angry. So, as a punishment, he sent me and my older sister to the local lumberjack who was famous in the area. His shop was located 1.5 kilometers away from our house. He was a really tall guy with a long beard.
Heck nah.
Black and white lumberjack shirt.
Get out.
Classic lumberjack. Anyway, at first he seemed very talkative. We ordered 2 bags full of wood, which were about 50 kilograms. He said, "Okay, hold on. It'll take about 15 minutes to cut and wrap everything."
Alright.
All of a sudden, my sister had to go to the restroom. He said that he would let her know where the toilet is, so she followed him. I was waiting for about 15 minutes, and then I noticed the place was silent. I saw neither my sister nor the man. I called my sister's name, but there was no answer.
Really?
Then I got a message from my dad that if we bought the wood, then we should come home immediately. According to the local news, the police are looking for a serial killer in the village 50 kilometers from here. Dad also attached a picture, and unfortunately, he looked very similar to the lumberjack. My heart dropped.
What's your name, buddy? Huh? Guys, shout out to Ty C. He is an awesome dude. I met him in Ketchup today. He is awesome. Alright, let's get back to the reaction.
I wanted to scream, but then he came with the bag of wood suddenly. He was smiling, but I could feel that something was weird. He looked joyful. "Please ask me where's your sister," he said and winked at me. "She's certainly not far away from you." Then I noticed the red stains on his shirt.
I don't like that.
I nervously opened the wood sack, and the pink hair clip of my sister came out.
He had a problem with chicken noodles.
I was full of anger. I grabbed the wooden bag with all my strength and hit the man. He screamed and fell on the floor, and I pulled out my pocket knife and stabbed him. 2 or 3, many times. Suddenly, I heard a loud scream out of nowhere. "Stop, Lewis!" It was my sister. "That was a prank!" She was crying. I couldn't think straight. My head was all messed up.
Oh my God.
What have I done? I killed the wrong guy. I dropped the knife and stared at his cold body. But then I recognized that I had no time. I knew that we had to get rid of this body quickly while we were still alone in the shop without employees or customers. So I quickly looked around and found a hidden room, which was locked.
Okay.
We kicked the door and pushed him inside. And we were about to turn on the light in the room to find a cover, but then what I found was a huge shock. The room was full of people who had been cut in several pieces, and the floor was covered with blood.
Oh!
The lumberjack was the real serial killer. We were so terrified that we quickly covered him with some fabric and then ran out of the shop. We ran home as fast as we could. My dad asked us what happened. We couldn't tell our parents anything.
There was a guy. Beside me.
Since that day, we always made sure that we keep enough wood before the heavy snow. I'm still wondering if the police found all the bodies at that shop.
I hope so. That's it. It's only been 4 minutes. It's not gonna hurt to react to another one, so let's react to this one.
Alright, come on. I hope you guys are hungry because we're gonna do an entire mukbang series with this little cafe.
No one cares. If she asks you this one question, always answer no. Answer no.
Well, a pleasant way to begin my 3 a.m. shift at Mercy Hospital. The First thing I did as I sat down was cut my finger. It was a paper cut. Despite
You got a paper cut? Imagine
quite a single bandage.
a hospital.
I sucked on my index finger like a vampire while I scrambled the desk. That band-aid. I found one. Purple. I'm a hospital receptionist, and all that means is I greet visitors, make appointments, and look nice. Well, as nice as a 30-year-old man who hasn't slept in hours can look. That night, as we call it, it was just me and a few nurses on the floor. Other than that, it was ghost quiet, except for the heavy rain. I sat back on the cheap recliner chair all receptionists get the honour of using. While adjusting my band-aid, I listened to the television mounted on the corner of the ceiling as it broadcasted a seemingly important message.
Authorities say the woman was last seen on Cedar Avenue.
I looked up to see if the television was showing any images of this strange woman. None. It was yet another crazy person with no name and no face who we were supposed to look out for. Not creepy at all.
Authorities also say the woman was reportedly walking around and asking people very, very bizarre questions.
I focused back on my desk and continued working, but I still listened as the news anchor went on and on. She continued.
The following statement was issued by an unidentified government official.
Listen carefully, folks. Whatever she
Where are
asks you,
your
you have to
eyes?
know. Do not, under any circumstances, answer yes.
Officials won't come and serve us to why citing security clearance. Please are asking that you immediately call 911 if you deem anyone suspicious.
I thought that part of the coverage was quite odd, but I wasn't sure anything could scare me anymore. Working here at the hospital, I thought I'd seen it all. At the flash of the ruby-red ambulance lights, I've seen people come in with severed arms, legs, fingers, people who somehow managed to scoop out their eyes, failed suicide attempts, and much, much more. You get used to it. My head was practically sunk into my desk as I filled out paperwork. That's when I heard something very subtle. Initially, I heard it coming from the front doors, the entrance. The automatic doors opened and closed, slamming against each other, and sounding an obnoxiously loud thud each time. The very dim lighting I had surrounding my desk flickered incessantly. Hello? I called out, seated behind the safety of my desk. Only the whistling wind responded. Hello? I called out again. I felt obligated to check if someone was there, especially since it might have been someone who was injured.
Stay inside, bro.
I reluctantly picked myself up from my chair and walked over to inspect. I nearly slipped and cracked my head open as the entrance floor was almost flooded from the rain. I noticed footsteps, wet shoe marks that seemed to come inside the hospital and then back out. I stood near the doors, poking my head outside. I looked. All I heard were the distant sounds of sirens and honking
Mercy
cars.
Hospital.
The rain poured harder. The peace and quiet was disturbed within moments of me sitting back down. The automatic door started again, opening and closing.
That boy looked tired, for real though. Ever just try to sleep?
Notice.
Ever been so tired his eyes look like this? Like, how long has this man not slept? Like, is he okay?
Automatic door started again, opening and closing, slamming shut, and letting in more rain as they did. But this time, I heard gentle footsteps make their way towards me, tapping closer and closer. Someone slowly emerged from the darkness between the entrance and front desk. And with drenched black hair approached, wearing a dark brown raincoat and a pair of boots that were too large for her toothpick legs. Her face was inundated with wrinkles and wet makeup, her black eyeshadow smudged. Despite the heavy rain outside, she didn't seem to have bothered wearing her hoodie. Hello, how can I help you, ma'am? She didn't respond. She looked around, scanning and observing an unimpressive hospital. Is there something I can help you with? We engaged in a brief stare down, which she won. I looked down and pretended to gather important paperwork. Are you here to visit someone? Then finally, she responded, without talking. She simply nodded and then took a few steps forward. Her hands hanging down her side. Her posture was unnatural, almost uncomfortable. Okay, for now. We'll have to wait a few hours for visiting time to begin, I said, pushing forward a sheet of paper and a pen. She raised her arm to sign and then abruptly stopped. She seemed startled by something on the desk. She looked at me, tilted her head, with a smile that was as wide as her eyes, said, "Would you please make that for me?" I was confused at first.
What'd you say?
She seemed startled by something on the desk. She looked at me, tilted her head, and, with a smile that was as wide as her eyes, said, "Would you please move that for me?" I was confused at first, and then she pointed at it with her index finger, as drops of rainwater tapped against my desk while her arm hovered over it. I took the little crucifix we had at the front desk and put it in the drawer. The woman proceeded as if she was going to finally sign the paper and then stopped before writing anything. She dropped the pen on the ground and stood there again, staring at me. She asked me a question. "Do you reject the Trinity?" "I'm sorry," I replied. For a few more uncomfortable moments, the woman stood there, like an ancient statue. I had no idea what she meant by the question. Ma'am, who exactly are you here to see? Family? Friend? What's your relationship with the patient?
No
Before I could finish talking midway through my question, the woman turned around and walked out the door, still smiling and her eyes as wide as I'd ever seen on a person. I went back to work and tried to move on, but her creepy mannerisms were trapped in my mind throughout the night. It's around 4 a.m.
Much better.
I spotted one of the children in the hospital walking down the hall. Nina, is that you? I called her out. All the kids in the hospital. I was proud of
3 kids. There's 2.
Holding snacks upstairs and even talking scary stories despite their predictable regret.
Oh, it's Amy. Look at that.
Every time I had one of
She
those
got the
scary
anime
stories, we always had a bunch of bed sheets to change the next
on the
morning.
noggin.
I only did these things for the kids when I wasn't busy.
Oh, frick, I'm sorry. Gotta make it bigger.
This is one of those uneventful nights, which of course was anyway, it was very odd to see Nina awake at that time. Walking down there with shutting the doors. It was absolutely terrifying and glad where she was. Nina, is that you? I squinted my eyes as I walked towards
Is it?
her. Sorry, Matt, she began. I don't want to be there anymore. She had dragged her blue blanket along with her.
Wanna be where?
Gesturing to us that she wanted to move to a living room. You have a kid bothering you again? I asked. I took hold of her hand and began walking her back to the elevator.
Matt, please, don't leave
Still
me
got a
alone.
purple
I don't
band-aid
like
on it.
being nervous.
I stopped walking. What? I said, leaning to Nina's left.
She keeps asking us the same question over and over. I've said no so many times. I keep telling her no, but everyone else kept laughing at her and saying yes to her. Please, I don't want to go back up.
Nina's words immediately played flashbacks inside my tired, overworked mind. Something about a strange woman going around and asking me even stranger questions. I didn't pay enough attention to that broadcast to notice the woman, but even if I had, I thought she'd left the hospital. I ditched the elevator and ran up a flight of daunting stairs, stomping against each step of what force I could muster. I probably woke up all those sleeping employees. I was so loud. I opened the doors of the children's room and couldn't believe my eyes. I checked each room, each one on each floor. I woke up my co-worker nurse and asked about the children. She couldn't find them either. We looked everywhere, but the hospital was locked down. We set off all possible alarms and other emergency procedures. We didn't find them.
She's inside. We just locked her
They're closed.
in. Is that it? Is that it? I don't know, that's it. About a minute now and it's still loading. My head looks huge, by the way. As I've got up as this. How are you? This is quick.
When I popped off, then your girl gave me just a little bit of...
That was it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you did enjoy, please be sure to smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. If I should do more with the face cam, let me know, because I'm kind of digging it. Alright, and anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay cool, keep hacking, be right. 2, 2, there. Goodbye. 2, 2, 4, out. Peace.